So here we have given an error numbers. We have to shift all the zeros in the end. So here you can see after shifting all the zeros, our output would look like this. For 0, it remains the same. Now let's try to solve this problem. For this, what we can do, we can create a simple for loop using I. So now write a pseudocode as well for I loop, and then here you can see we have a 0 initially and we need to shift it with the 1, right? So initially it's 0, and in the next iteration we have to check if our nums ith value not equals to 0, then we have to shift it, right? But to which uh, uh, index we have to shift it? So we need to create another index. We can name it 0 z, and here 0 uh, num I is not equals to 0. Here it's not the case, so we have to move it into the next iteration. So here you can see z is pointing to 0th index and our I is pointing to 1, so we have to shift it both. So after shifting, this would become this. Now what we have to do, we have to update our 0th index to +1. Okay, in the next iteration our I points to 0, but here nums I is not equals to 0. Here it's not the case, so we continue the loop. In the next iteration our I is pointing to this and our 0 index pointing to this. Now again what we have to do, we have to simply shift it. Here's 0, here's 1. Now write a condition as well. Swap z with ith value, and after swapping we have to exit, and in the end we can simply return nums. Okay, in the next iteration we have to shift z plus plus. So here this is now it's pointing. In the next iteration we have to uh, increment the ith index, so this will automatically done with this. And now we see our I is not equals to 0 here, so it goes inside it. We have to swap the z along with ith value. So here how it's become 0 here and 12 here. Now z plus plus, z is pointing over there. Our in the next iteration I goes out of the loop, and uh, we came out of this loop, and simply we have to return it. So if we see a time and space complexity, we are not taking any extra space, no array uh, string kind of thing. And then for space complexity it would be simply O of n. For the single, we are doing it in the single iteration for loop, so that is why this time complexity is O of n. Now let's try to solve the write a code for this. Let 0 would initially be pointing to 0th index, and then we need a for uh, I loop equals to 0 from start with 0 less than nums dot, and simple for loop, and we check if nums current index not equals to 0, then what we have to do, we have to swap nums ith nums set index along with so it is, this is the short index for short syntax for swapping. Then once this is end, we have to increment the z. Okay, and in the end we can simply return nums. Now let's try to run this and see. Okay, this one is working. Yeah, Hopefully you get it.